So if you've been paying attention, haven't had your head under a rock, we all have seen as of late the fact that these people are now openly confessing the fact that there are unidentified flying objects, right? Unidentified aerial phenomenon and so forth. So they went from gaslighting and lying to the people saying, there were no such thing as UFOs and so forth. And now they've completely switched their tune and they're singing a whole new song, right? Because they're seeing things out here that they can't explain away. And so they have to admit it now. But what were they doing prior to the modern state of things? Like I said, they were trying to hide the truth, right? But in the midst of hiding the truth, they were trying to disguise the truth in fantasy and fiction and things like that, so that you wouldn't really pay too much attention to it or give it any weight. But they were abiding by the rules, right? Because there is a rule. You've seen this rule play out in cartoons when you were a child. You've seen, or maybe when you were, as you were an adult, you've seen this rule play out in movies, in television shows, right? And what is that rule that I'm speaking of? Well, it is the rule where the evil force, the wicked force, the bad force, the bad guy, they have to spill their guts and tell their plan. They got to tell you what's coming. They got to tell you what they plan to do right before it happens, because that's the Most High's rules. That's what Satan has to do. All right. Because the Father, that's what he does. He doesn't do anything unless he lets us know first what he's going to do. All right. And so that we can be ready for it and we have no excuse on what side of the matter we choose to stand on. All right. Now you've seen it, like you may have been watching a movie and the quote unquote protagonist or the good guy, right? He gets caught. Bad guy finally got him, right? He's sitting in the chair and he's ready to blow him up or, kill him in whatever manner or do whatever evil, wicked thing that he has planned, right? And he's about ready to do it, or she's about ready to do it. And all he has to do is push the button. He got him. All he got to do is just hurry up and execute the thing that he wants to do, and it's all over. Good guy dead. It's all over with. Bad guy wins, right? But what normally happens? He either gets talked into telling what his plan is or was, or his own ego forces him to just keep talking and to reveal the plan, right? And then what happens during the course of telling the plan, or just as he finishes telling the plan, then something happens. Someone intervenes on the good guy's behalf, someone on his team, or something else happens, or maybe he finds a way to get out of his predicament and turn it around, right? But first, the bad guy had to confess first. That part had to happen. All right. And so, what am I getting at here? Well, again, I told you that this is what Satan does because Satan has to do it. And so, if you know what you're looking at, then you've seen Satan do this. And you've seen him do it in the form of movies and television, popular media and so forth, through what we understand as predictive programming. All right. They get you ready for what's coming and they announce what's coming through predictive programming. What is predictive programming? Predictive programming is a psychological operation in which media, especially film and television, are used to subconsciously prepare the public to accept future events, right? Like, they say there's a lot of talk about how The Simpsons is used and so forth, but this happens through all media. All right. So it's not entertainment. All right. That's what many people believe it to be, but it's not entertainment. It's indoctrination through repetition. All right. So the goal is to control how people respond when those future events actually happen. You condition them to have a preset response, the response you want them to have when the situation actually occurs, because they know how we are wired. Satan knows how we are wired as humans. He knows how to hack the software. He knows how to hack our software. All right. And that's what psychology really teaches, on how to hack human software, aka the subconscious. All right. So in this case, the powers that be, Esau and the ruling elite, they have been planting the idea that so-called aliens will invade Earth, right? So through the media, they've shown us UFOs arriving from the sky, all right? Mysterious, powerful beings descending from the sky to the Earth, all right? Governments uniting as one world, one power, right? One people to fight back. We've seen the Earth's survival depending on everybody coming together collectively to resist the invaders. All right. Everyone stops fighting each other. And, we all got the same common enemy now. We got to come together. We got to get rid of our differences, put our differences to the side. And, we have to fight for Earth. Right. See, but the truth is, those so-called aliens that they try to condition you with are really what they know to be the coming of Yahawashi and then the angels, his heavenly host. All right. Because our power is called the Lord of hosts, right? Meaning the Lord of armies. All right. And those armies are heavenly armies. And what is the purpose of those armies? Every army they have a purpose, right? He doesn't just have an army and he doesn't plan to use them. That's the thing. All right. And so he does plan to use them. The Bible explicitly says it. It outlines it. And Satan knows it. These people who read the Bible, they know it. And so they're trying to get us ready for this to happen. All right. But again, they do so through the guise of fiction and fantasy. All right. And so we know that Yahawah, through his son Yahawashi, is coming with the heavenly hosts, right? Riding the chariots of Yahawah, coming to wage righteous war on the kingdoms of this world and to redeem his chosen people, the elect of Israel. Not all of Israel, but he's coming to redeem the elect of Israel. All right. And so let's go ahead and get into the scriptures now. All right. We're going to go into the Apocrypha and we're going to begin with 2nd Ezra 13. All right. And speak and give you the biblical alien invasion. All right. The biblical alien invasion, to show you that all of these things that they're talking about, what they're showing you in the movies, it has a biblical perspective, a biblical basis. They skew the details of it. They skew certain things, you know what I mean? But the foundation of what they're pushing is biblical. All right, so 2nd Ezra chapter 13, let's start at verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Who's that man? Well, that's Yahawashi, right? That's Christ. That is his second coming that the world is waiting for, that we expect, that we constantly hear of in the Bible and in media, through movies and so forth, right? Whether people believe in Christ and Yahawashi, Hamashiach or not, they know of the belief that he's supposed to be returning. All right. And he's not going to return in the way in which he came the first time. That's not how he's returning. All right. That man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, when he turned his face, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right. This is the earth. Everything, everyone upon the earth are going to tremble when they see him. It's going to be a terrifying sight. It's going to be a terrifying day. In the same way in which when you watch those alien movies, right? Independence Day and all the rest of them, right? And all of those alien ships, descend into the earth and they sit there in the sky, all right? Looking like an intimidating force, an intimidating presence, right? Was going to be that's how it's going to be. That's why they try to give you that feeling of how scary and intimidating and it is going to be if that was to happen, right? When those people in the movie and how terrified they are to see these things up above them. Well, because they're trying to capture the true fear that the earth is going to be under when Yahawashi comes and he's up there in the air and with all those angels with his great heavenly hosts. All right. And so that man, like I said, is Yahawashi. And the thousands of heaven are the holy angels, which include the elect, the bride, his bride. All right, is among that number because he's returning from the wedding with his bride and with the rest of the heavenly host. All right. And so this is the return that the world will see, right? But not with open arms, all right, but with fear. All right. A lot of people, including Christians, they profess that they look forward to the day of the Lord, but they have no idea that he's not coming for them. And it's going to be a great terror for them. And they are going to know it that he's not there for them, that he's not here for them when they see him. Because what they see is going to be unlike what they've been conditioned for, because they are receiving predictive programming in the Christian church. You see, the Christian church is utilizing predictive programming as well to get them ready, to make them believe that his coming is going to be a sweet and blessed day for them, that they're going to be raptured, right? And they aren't going to get to experience the great terrors and the calamities, the things that are going to come upon the earth, right? When the Most High judges this place, they think they're going to escape because they believe they are the chosen. The scriptures don't support that, but that's what they believe nonetheless. All right. And so when that time comes and he comes and they see him, they're going to instantly know. And they're looking at the angels and the elect and everybody, they're going to know because who they see, what they see is going to terrify them because the realization of what they have done is going to come upon them because nobody is looking for and expecting a great mighty host of quote unquote Negro looking people to come from heaven into this earth. Right? They're expecting white Jeebus, right? And a bunch of friendly looking white angels, not a bunch of angry, warlike, war ready, right? Angels of heaven. They're not looking for that. They don't believe that's what heaven looks like. They don't believe that's what the angels look like. They don't believe that's what Christ, Hamashiach Yahawashi, looks like. But when they see it, they're gonna know and they're gonna understand that they were in great error and that they have persecuted the heavenly family on earth. They're going to know what they did and who they did it to in that time. And it's going to be a terrifying time. All right. It says, let's start at verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. All right, a great people. That's us who he's preparing. All right, the Israelites who are upon the earth, right, at that time. Or it can be a reference to the elect, his bride, who has come with him and who he's with. That he's the fact, it's just announcing the fact that he's come with his great mountain, the elect of Israel. All right. in which most likely that is what it's talking about. Because look, what it says next, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not, right? And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. But look, you see, they will gather together to fight against him, right? This is exactly what the movies are programming us to do, right? To fear, to unite, and to fight. All right. This is what the programming is doing. And this is what the Bible tells you exactly what they're going to do. He's telling you this is what they're going to do. And they're using the movies to program everybody to do this because this is what's going to happen. You see, what's written in the scriptures, it must come to pass. It must happen. Many people don't believe in the prophecies and don't believe that the Bible is real. But just because they don't believe doesn't mean that it's not real, and doesn't mean that these things are not going to come to pass. They are. And it's going to be to the astonishment of all of these people who don't believe. All right. And this is a great chapter. I suggest, you take the time to read this entire chapter for yourselves. I'm not going to go through this entire chapter for you here. I'm just going to get what I need in order to make the point. But again, your personal homework, because you should always study to show thyself approved. All right. You should take the time to read this for yourself, to understand all of these things that are going on in here, because this is what's going to happen. All right. You're getting a glimpse. It's like getting a crystal ball, right? If they were real, and getting to peek into the future. You want to know what's coming? Read the Bible. Pray for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so that you can understand and comprehend what you are reading. Otherwise, you can read the Bible, you can study it and not understand a single thing that you read. All right. So the chariots of the Most High are the UFOs, right? That they keep telling us about. All right, let's go to Psalm 68, verse 17. And it reads, the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. You see, they're deep. They're in heaven, man, just deep. Meaning, for anybody who doesn't understand what that means, is they are numerous in number. All right. There are a lot of them. All right. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. And is way more than 20,000. You better believe it. All right. And let's go to 2 Kings chapter 6. We also want verse 17 from here. And it reads, and Elisha prayed and said, Lord, Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. He got a peek behind the veil. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha, because the angels of the Lord encampeth around about those who fear and love him. All right. They're just behind the veil, but they're here. We can't see them. They can see us. They can hear us, and they report on us constantly. So just understand that you are not alone. You're right. The Most High, man. Hear him singing to you, man. I am here with you. That should be scary if you're a wrongdoer. All right. All right. So let's go to Isaiah 66, verse 15. Somebody's out there's like, brother, please don't sing again. Don't ever, please don't ever sing again. Oh man, 'cause I know how I sound. Trust me, I know exactly how I sound. All right, I can't carry a tune, not like that. All right, but I can sing this song though. I can sing this song that only the elect can sing. I know this song very well, and I sing it beautifully. All right. Uh, thanks to Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi, not because anything special within myself, mind you. Okay. So Isaiah 66, let's get verse 15. For behold, Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. You see, he's not coming the way he came before. See, everybody got this idea and this notion of this soft and gentle and cuddly lamb, right? This man who wouldn't harm a tick on a monkey's back, right? To save his life, right? That's not what's coming. That's not who is on his way. All right. We're talking about our power of vengeance, the one who says that vengeance belongs to him, that he will repay him. That's who's coming. All right. So again, it says he comes with fire. All right. He's going to come destroying stuff. All right. These chariots are vehicles of divine war and judgment. Right? What the world calls UFOs or UAPs, right? The scriptures call heavenly chariots. All right. They come with fire, whirlwind, and destruction. You don't want to be caught in that whirlwind. You don't want to be a victim of that destruction. That's why we need to get it together now. And that's why we are given the Spirit to search him, to seek him, to draw near to him, so that when he does come, we are not the victims of these things. We are not recipients of these things. We don't share in the destruction and in the plagues of this place. That's why he says, come out of her, my people. All right. Doesn't mean to physically get up and leave. It means to separate yourself from them. Don't be loving this place. Use this place, but don't abuse this place. All right. Don't be in love with it. Be ready to leave it. Be ready to lose everything. All right. Love him more than anything here. Okay. You can enjoy, enjoy the things that he has given to you and allow you to enjoy in this place, but you're not supposed to love it so much and enjoy it so much that you don't want his return, right? That you spend more time or all of your time on those things and no time on him. All right. Don't do that. All right. Um, let's go to Ezekiel. We have to go to Ezekiel. Anybody who understands the scriptures, no, you can't do a lesson on this topic and not go into Ezekiel, because that's where, I didn't mean to do it first. Let's see. That's where we are first told and of the chariots, all right, where they are explained to us. All right, so Ezekiel 1, verse 4, because he's the prophet who received the vision of the chariots. All right, Ezekiel 1 and 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolded itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. All right, let's come down to verse 15. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Right? When they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them. 4. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went, Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. When those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So it's describing the chariots and their operation, how they move. They move in such a way that, it defies, right, the laws of physics and so forth, right? What they have on this earth, their fighter jets and all of these other aircraft that they can't compare to the chariots. They can't do what these chariots are capable of doing. It is not going to be, an even fight, so to speak. They're not going to be able to withstand what's coming. They're not going, it is, right now they're trying to make people comforted, right? Because this is what they do. Because they know this is coming. They're also trying to comfort people, all right? So that and condition you for when this does come, you don't just descend into complete fear and try to bend the knee to these forces, right? So that they want you to feel the strength of defiance, feeling that, you have a chance to defeat them when they come. Because, the movies show you, them coming up with, genius ways to outsmart the aliens or finding a weakness and somehow winning, somehow overcoming. That's not going to happen. All right. They try to tell you about, oh yeah, we got what do you call it? UFO, a downed UFO. We were able to shoot down a UFO and a UAP, and we have it, somewhere Area 51 or whatever, wherever they claim to be keeping these things. They do not have a chariot of the Most High in their possession. You can cut that out right now. They do not have the capability to shoot down a chariot of the Lord. They do not. It is not going to be a fight in the way that they think. They're not going to prevail. It's not even going to be close. There won't be a single chariot shot down. Not one. Not one. They're not going to destroy a single chariot. Not one. Not a one. They're going to lose, but they need the people to have confidence in them that they can win. Otherwise, the people would be more likely to submit to that greater power because they know psychology, they know our software, and that people yield to power. And that when they see that power, their inclination is going to be to yield, but they don't want them to yield. They want them to try to withstand it. They want them to be opposed, and to never try to bend the knee and to have this faith and this belief that they could win, that it's possible to win. Otherwise, they wouldn't fight. Their fighters, their warriors, their soldiers wouldn't fight if they knew that fighting was a lost cause, that it was going to be just a complete slaughter, that it wasn't even going to be close. But no, they need them to fight, right? Because the scriptures have to be true, right? When it says that, and all the people who saw him were so afraid and yet durst fight. Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to be terrified, but yet they're going to fight. They're going to lose, but they're going to fight because they're going to believe that even in their fear that they have a chance to win. All right? That's what they believe. Again, because of the predictive programming. All right? So Ezekiel saw the chariots, with vivid detail, right? Glowing metal, lightning, fire, spinning wheels, right? These were not man-made machines, all right? They were divine spiritual vehicles driven by the angels, fully in sync with the will of the Most High. That's why it is impossible to take them down. You can't do battle with the Most High. You can't defeat his spirit and his power. All right, man's capabilities are nowhere near sufficient enough to pose any kind of real threat or fight unto the Most High, man. No way. But Satan, though, Satan is going to put it inside the minds of his people that they got a shot. All right, that's what he's going to do. So let's see. I want to go to Revelation 19, but let me see something real quick. Yeah, right here, verse 8, back in Second Ezra chapter 13, right? He says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. They were extremely afraid, and yet durst fight. All right. Like I said, that's what's going to happen. They're going to be extremely afraid, but yet they're going to fight anyway. And that's because of the predictive programming and because of the lies that they're told about, having the capabilities of shooting down UFOs, UAPs, and saying that they've done it before. That's going to give their people the confidence, although they're going to be terrified, they're going to have some confidence in their ability to fight, that they're going to have an opportunity, a shot at being victorious. All right. But that's not what's going to happen. There's not going to be any victory. It's going to be complete destruction. It's not even going to be a close fight, but it's going to be one, but it's not going to be close. This is what's coming. This is what they know. This is what they hide. This is what they are preparing for. This is why they have just come up with this space force. All of a sudden, they need a space force, huh? Why do they need a space force? What is the purpose of this space force when you know it is impossible to go into space? We all know this. Don't be fooled. Don't be among the ignorant sheep out there that think these people can get through the firmament and go into quote unquote outer space. They cannot, they have not, they will not. This, the space, what I'm saying, that their force is going to occupy in is going to be in the air, because Yahawashi and the angels, they aren't going to come, and come down into outer space. And then, their space force of the earth is going to have to go up into outer space and they're going to fight in outer space. No, all the scriptures tell you is going to come to the earth. They're going to come from heaven to here. So up in the sky, right? The same way the movies show you. They don't show you a fight happening, in outer space. I mean, maybe if you're talking like Star Wars or something. No, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about like the Independence Days and things of that ilk, right? All right, but Revelation 19 and 19. Matter of fact, I'm going to start from verse 11. The coming of Hamashiach. And I saw heaven open, because he's coming here. The heavens are going to open and they're going to descend and come here. And behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. That's what he's coming to do. Judge and make war, right? This earth is going to have to pay for what it has done to the Israelites. See, this whole world, the earth, whole earth, entire earth hates us, man. And they have all taken part in our persecution and enslavement. They have all taken part in keeping their knees and their feet on our neck. They have all taken part in our oppression, keeping us down. And they're going to pay. They're going to be judged for it. And he's coming to make war with the entire earth, because he's going to subdue the entire earth, and we're going to rule over the entire earth. But remember, war, right? Right? When the Romans went here and went there and went everywhere, they waged war on all of these different nations, right? And then they ruled over all of those nations, right? But this is what's going to happen as well. Yahawashi is coming, all right, because he's going to be the king over all the earth. And his men under him are going to be kings over the earth, ruling in different parts of the earth. All right. And so he's coming to subdue all of these powers. All right. That's why it's a war on the earth, not just a particular country, but against all the countries. And that's why they're going to come together to fight together, because he's coming to take all of them down, so that he and his men can rule over all the earth. That's what's coming for us, Israel. Rulership over all the earth. All of the earth is going to be our domain. All of it. Not a little sliver of land, right? Not just one little country or continent. No, all of it. All of it is going to be our territory. All of it. All right. He says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. The many crowns, because he's going to rule over all the nations. He's going to take power away from every country. They're all going to be brought down. Their militaries are going to be destroyed. Their governments, their rulership, their leaders are going to be brought down. And he's going to rule as the king over all of those countries, over every land, right? And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of Yahawah, the Word of God. All right. His clothes, right? He was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood because he's coming to wage war. There's about to be a lot of killing going on, a whole lot of killing going on. You see, this world got it all messed up. See, the idea that they have of him is through Christian lenses. They see him through the lens of Christians, of Christianity. And Christianity has it wrong. Christianity paints him in the wrong light. And so they're not ready for this. This is not what they're expecting. Not the average person. See, the higher ups, the powers that be, right? They know what's coming. But the average Joe, doesn't know. All right. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. You see, that's his whole point. That's why he's coming. That's why the predictive programming. And he shall rule them with the rod of iron. All right. He's going to rule them with a heavy hand. They're about to get their backs broken. Why? Because of what they did to his people. They're going to pay for it. He's coming to make the world pay for what they have done to Israel. The ancient ones, not the modern ones, perpetrating a fraud. All right. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty power. Because our Father, my goodness, he has a great fierceness and a great wrath that he's going to pour out on this world. They're going to know in the same way. Just imagine if you had to sit back and, you were behind a gate that you can't get through, but he can get through it. Just follow the analogy. You were behind a gate and you couldn't get through the gate, but on the other side of the gate, you're watching, your children just be done wrong day in and day out. You can't do anything about it. All right. He can't do anything about it, not because he's not able, but because he can't move before the time. He has placed a time. Everything is on a schedule, and he can't move before the appointed time. That's his gate. It's his own word. It's his gate because he can't surpass his own word. He would never. Right. So by his own word, he has given the world a time to do this. All right. So they have a lot of time to be able to run roughshod over the earth and over his people. Man, he's just watching, growing angrier and angrier by the second. Just consider it. And then that time comes. Boop, gates open. Uh-oh. What kind of wrath would you bring to the people who have been harming your children? And all you could do before was just watch for a long period of time. And now you're finally able to get through. Imagine that anger, that wrath, that vengeance that's in your heart. And now multiply that infinitely more than you could comprehend. And that's what's in the Most High's intention and what he's coming to do. All right. Through his son, Hamashiach Yahawashi. It's going to be quite the episode. Okay. This world is really not ready for what's coming. All right. Now let's come down to verse 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth. All right. It says kings of the earth just means rulers. All right. The president of this nation, would be called the king. The Most High he ain't saying president. He ain't, or prime minister. He ain't about to use a bunch of different titles in order to talk about him. He just says kings and all that, and that covers all of it. Whatever titles they're using, the Most High calls them kings. All right, rulers. All right, and their armies. All right. I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies. And what did they do? They were gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. This is the great battle that we're all heading towards, what we call the crescendo of his movie. All right, we are moving toward the ending of this movie. All right, and this is what's going to happen. The great battle scene at the end. All right, this is what's coming. All right, they're gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army, but they're not going to prevail. But they're going to try to fight. They're going to be terrified, but they're going to try to fight because the predictive programming has made them believe that they have an opportunity to win, that it's possible to shoot down the chariots. Right? Yeah, they think it's possible. It is not possible. And they're going to find it out the hard way. All right. Revelation 16, verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahawah Almighty. You see, these spirits are working behind the scenes to move things, to move people in this direction, in that direction, moving people's hearts, controlling their minds, and getting them to do these things so that the Most High's will can be done. You see, so Trump, right now, everything that he's doing, stop sweating it. Stop being terrified about it. Stop being vexed by it. These are the things that have to happen, right? This is all by instruction, in control of the great puppet master, our Father. Nothing is happening that he doesn't want to happen. Everything that is happening is his will, his desire for these things to happen. Don't fight against it. Don't make yourself an enemy of our power by being against what you see happening. You should be fully in favor of everything you see Trump doing, fully in favor of everything you see everyone doing. Everything that everyone is doing, it should please you. You should be happy to see it because you know who's responsible for it. And you know that all these things have to happen for his will to be done. And his will is for you, Israel, to overcome at the end, right? To be made kings and priests in the earth, and for this whole earth to be handed over and to become your domain. That's what's coming for you. But first, all these things you see happening in the earth have to happen first. All right. These nations got to fall. Their wickedness, it has to abound. All right. Because remember, they have to fill up their cup of iniquity. So what do you see Trump doing? He's speeding up the process. Like he said, is that he would shorten these days for the elect's sake. So he's speeding up the end, right? He's speeding up, the filling up of their cup so that he can come and do to them what he desires to do to them, so that he can fulfill our great hope and expectation. He knows what our hope and expectation is because he knows that we trust and believe in him. And he said, he promised us that we are not going to be ashamed, that believe in him, that trust in him, that wait on him. All right. So you see, they will unite in one. You're right. They will come together as one world government, one power, right? For a final attempt to resist Yahawashi, right? Just like in every alien movie, right? The world comes together, sets aside its differences, and fights a quote unquote common enemy. All right. That's not a coincidence. That's programming. That's prophecy. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 13. Prophecies against Babylon. We know who Babylon is. Judgment on the day of the Lord. This is where we're going. Judgment day on the day of the Lord, the day of his coming, the day Christians swear that they can't wait for it to happen, but they don't understand what's really going to happen when it happens. All right. Howl ye, for the day of Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty, which means he's planning on destroying things when he comes. What he's going to destroy? The kingdoms of this earth. He's going to destroy these people. He's going to destroy their nations. He's going to destroy their powers. He's going to destroy their militaries. He's going to take them out of power. That's what's going to happen in this time. All of their weaponry, everything that they have, he's going to destroy it all so that they have no power. He's going to take away all their power from them. All right? All of it, all their might, all their strength. He's going to take it. He's going to destroy it all. They're not going to be able to wage war anymore. They're not going to be able to oppress anybody anymore. They're not going to be able to conquer anymore. They're not going to be able to rule anymore. It's all over, right? Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, because it's going to be a day of terror. All of them, even Christians, are going to be terrified in that day, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth, meaning a woman in labor. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Their faces shall be as flames. That either means they're going to be on fire, right? Literally, or that it's going to be so much destruction and fire and everything on earth that it would be like you can see the reflections of the destruction, the fire, the flames in other people's faces. I can't really tell you exactly what it means when it says their faces will be as flames. But if you take it the way it sounds, they're going to be burned up, man. They're going to be burned up. It will be as flames. Yikes. Behold, the day of Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi cometh. The day is coming, and they know it. This is what they're preparing for. And they know what's coming when it comes. Cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. They know this is how he's coming. To lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. See what he's coming to do? And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. This is why you see what we call white supremacy and white pride, why it's ramping up, right? They're trying to MAGA, right? That's what MAGA is about. MAGA is about a return to their glory days, right? So that you have this spirit of MAGA, the spirit of being back in the day, the spirit of, right, that hatred and anger towards the Israelites, right? That arrogancy of, we are the best and we are supreme, and, there is no power greater than us, and we're the most beautiful, and we're the smartest, and this, that, and the other. This is what they feel. See, this is their arrogancy, right? Of the proud. They are the proud. He's going to cause it to cease. But that's why it's increasing right now. He's allowing them to get full of themselves, right? He's allowing them to get filled with anger and pride so that he can come and tear them down, so he can destroy them in it at the height of their arrogancy. He don't want them dormant and docile. No, he want them activated, right? He want them extremely hateful towards his people. When he comes, he's going to come at a time when these people's anger and hatred for us is extremely high. Remember, We're going to have to be in under conditions where we need saving. That's why we're waiting for salvation. See, and a lot of Israelites don't see they don't live under oppression and everything right now. And so they don't really see or feel the need for saving. Oh, but they will, because the Most High is going to make it so. He's going to let these people do do the best that they can to try to exterminate us, to try to oppress us, and to subjugate us, and to take us back to once upon a time. He's going to allow them to try to make America great again for them, right? He's going to let them try. And that's what you're seeing right now. Trump is trying. He's trying, right? But all of this is the preparations for the coming of the Lord. He's laying the groundwork. He's letting his enemies puff themselves up and make themselves worthy of their destruction. That's what's happening. All right? He says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And this is talking about his men. Why? Because he's going to come and start killing. He's going to do so much killing that men are going to be in short supply. Most of the men in the earth are going to be killed. Many women are going to be killed also, but most of the men are going to be killed. Why is that? Because these men are the threat to his sons, right? They are the threat. They are the main forces against his sons. And the ones who aren't killed are going to be preserved for captivity. There are going to be many women killed as well. But the women who are not killed are going to be preserved to be the women of his sons. His sons are about to be blessed, about to be rewarded for their patience, about to be paid back for being put on the bottom of all men and all people on the earth. We're even under our women. Our women are lifted up by our enemies to be above us. You see? But through our patience and our love for him, he's going to restore unto us the years that the locusts and the caterpillars and the palmer worms and everything have eaten and destroyed. So we're going to have it great again. I'm going to make a man more precious than fine gold. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts and in the day of his fierce anger. You see, there's going to be no place to hide except with his men. Ladies, you need to be trying to find a man of the Lord, and you need to try to get under his wing. You need to try to position yourself next to him. For when this time comes, you're going to need him to be your covering. And you need to not care whether or not this man is married or not. It's not going to matter, because in that day, 7 women, meaning multiple women, are going to take hold of one man. Right? The only covering, the only place of safety is going to be with the man of the Most High, not with any man, one of his men. All right? Not just any man from the bloodline. No, the men who he loves and those that love him. That's who you need to be looking for and scouting. You need to be looking around and trying to find these men, right? And fellas, you need to be trying to find these men also, right? Because that's, again, because nobody is going to be safe unless you're near these men, unless you're around these men, unless you're covered by these men's protection. That's the thing. His men are going to go from being on the bottom to being not sought out and not being deemed as important or valuable to being the true high value man on the earth. This is what he's going to do for his sons. This is what Yahawashi is coming to do for his brothers. You see? But he told us he's going to shake the heavens, and these people know it, right? He says, it shall be as the chaste roe. and as a sheep that no man taketh up. All right. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. Segregation is going to happen again. All right. People are going to be grouped together according to kind. Every man shall turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Listen, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, because it's going to be a great search. You're going to segregate, put people in their groups, and then they're going to be sought out to be killed. Right? He knows the ones who he want to die, and they will die. And those who he want to save and preserve, he will preserve for his purpose. And his people, we will know who to kill and who not to kill in that time. Again, this is why these people hate us. They know what's coming. Their children also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. You see, this happened to Israel first. He allowed it to happen to us. So what's going to happen to the other nations? All right. The Most High is fair. He's just. He's balanced. All right. He didn't put his own children through this, and then he's going to allow the other people to escape and not experience this. You can call it unfair. You can say it's not right, all you want to, whatever. But his people, we had to endure this. We went through slavery, right? Our men had to deal with, their wives being ravished, right? Having their women, taken right in front of them. You know what I mean by taken, right? Taken right in front of them. They had to watch their women be taken by these other men who had the power, right? Children being taken, the children being dashed to pieces, children being killed. Our children, Israelite children, were killed in great number. The same thing is going to happen to these other nations. I'm telling you, this is what is in their spirit. This is great time of trouble and war. It's coming. All right. Again, this is what all the predictive programming is about. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Now, it is commonly believed that the Medes are modern day Iran. All right. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, in which it would kind of make sense in why all of these nations, are so opposed to Iran having weaponry, having a nuclear arsenal. They're terrified. Iran wasn't doing nothing to nobody. These same nations who are terrified of Iran having a nuclear arsenal and keep trying to get everybody to see Iran as this boogeyman, these people are the ones terrorizing the earth. They're the ones terrorizing their own citizenry. They're the ones terrorizing other nations, on earth. But yet they have this great fear of this nation who ain't bothering anybody being a terror, because they're watching prophecy. They're prophecy watching. They're trying to move the chess pieces and prevent prophecy from happening. The Medes are going to be raised up against them, and they know it. They're trying to make sure these people do not have any power, right? Do not have the resources to be able to destroy them. All right. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. They know this is what these people are going to do. And since they believe the Iran to be the Medes, they're prophecy watching and they're prophecy blocking, or they're trying to. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, we know who the glory of kingdoms is today. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what's coming to this place. It's going to be destroyed with fire, brimstone, fire and brimstone, right? It's gonna destroy this place. It shall never be inhabited. neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. This is that great fear that is upon these people that they can't explain, those who don't know. They just have this great fear. They can't explain it, right? But they're uneasy, right? The way that this world is going, they can sense that it's never going to be what it was. It's never going to be the same again. MAGA is going to be a failed attempt. It's never going to happen, all right? So you see, this is describing global destruction, right? Nuclear war, trembling of the earth, judgment on Babylon and all nations. See, so because Yahawah is not returning to rule, right? Yahawashi, Yahawashi in the Father's stead, on behalf of the Father, is returning to destroy the earth first. You see? And then through the 1,000 years of his reign, he will be subduing and destroying and beating the other nations into compliance and making the world ready for the Father to come. You see, our Father comes last. All of these things have to be done before our Father comes to dwell among us. You know, spiritually, that is. He's not going to be here in a physical body, in spirit, you know, inside of his people. You see? So Yahawashi will not fight like a man. We have to get out of our minds, you know, who he was and recognize who he is, right? When I mean who he was, I mean who he was when he was on the earth, because he came and he lived that way, right? With great restraint, because that was the will of the Father. All right. None of that could have happened if he didn't want it to happen, if it wasn't the Father's will. They could not have done to him what was done to him unless it was the Father's will. But now it is the Father's will for him to kill and to destroy and to get vengeance for his people. So that's what he's coming to do. And as we were saying, Yahawashi will not fight like a man. All right. So 2 Ezra 13, verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, because he delegates. There was no need for him to do that. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Right? And I don't believe this means that he is literally gonna, you know, this is literally gonna happen in this way. I think this is him delegating and commanding his armies, right? That he is sending his armies out to go get busy, right? To go get busy, man, doing damage. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 11 and see this is again what they're preparing to fight against. Like he said, saw the violence of the multitude coming. So all of these nations, they're going to be coming. Great violence, right? With all of their weaponry and everything else, and they're going to try to do battle with them. All right, Isaiah 11 and 4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. All right. And with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Again, I believe this is about delegation and him commanding his armies, not literally just speaking things into existence. Otherwise, why did he bring the armies if it's not to use the armies, the thousands and thousands and thousands, right? So I believe this is a reference to him giving commands, right? The way a general would do on the battlefield, right? The way, you know, the commander would do on the battlefield. I had to put it that way because not all generals, you know, are out there on the battlefield. I'm talking like back in the day. War is fought differently now. So like back in the day, you know. So I believe that's what this is talking about, and that's how this is going to play out. Again, it also speaks to why these people hate us, and why, like, Trump is trying to get the black folks out of his military. Right? He wants the black folks out of his military. He wants them out of the government, out of law enforcement, all of that, because he sees us as the enemy within. Right? We're going to be powered up, and you know what I mean. So why waste the resources on training the enemy to fight against them in that day? All right. Not understanding that our God is going to endow us with power. It ain't their training that is going to be, the catalyst. Is going to be the spiritual gift, spiritual powers that we're going to be endowed with. All right, that's going to allow us to beat them into pieces. Okay, let's go to Hebrews 4, verse 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And so you see what he's capable of in his nature, right? See, I believe this is also why it's going to be important not to take the mark of the beast, because this is Satan's attempt to be able to operate like God. To be what we just read, Satan wants to be able to do this as well. So you take that mark, and then Satan suddenly has the ability to know your thoughts, right? He knows your thoughts and the intents of your heart, right? And then also has the ability to control you because you're GMO, right? The transhumanism agenda, right? Where you're not really gonna be fully human, and you're not gonna belong to you anymore, and you can be controlled like a robot. You see, this is how Satan is gonna try to fight this war against Yahawashi. This is why a lot of people are gonna be afraid and yet are still gonna fight. They're gonna be programmed, they're gonna be controlled, they're gonna be under the control of whoever is given the controls, right? Whoever is given the controls, they're going to have the ability to push buttons and to get people to act, to do things, to feel things, right? To say things, and right, they're going to have this ability to control. All right. So Yahawah doesn't need bombs, right? He doesn't need tanks. All right. He speaks and nations fall, but it's delegation. He's going to speak, and his angels, his army, are going to act. Again, the angels, all of these angels that are coming, they're not coming to sit back and watch him just say stuff and then it gets done. No, they're coming to execute his will. They are coming to fight. All right. The word that formed the earth will destroy it. All right. Yahawashi, with his mouth, he's going to destroy the earth. He's not going to lift up any weapon. He is going to sit back like a general, like a boss, and shot call. And it's going to get done. All right. Those chariots, those angels in those chariots, man, are going to wreak havoc on the earth. All right. And as Yahawashi said in Isaiah 47, verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. You see, I will not meet thee as a man, because he has to let them know, I'm not coming back the way I came the first time. No, no, no. I'm coming back in all my power, in all my strength, in all my glory. You see, that's how he's coming. And they're not going to be able to withstand him. All right. He is coming to save his people, not the world. You see all of this talk about how he's going to destroy all of these nations, because he doesn't so love the whole world the way Christianity says. That's why you hear all of this talk about him going to do all of this killing, and he's going to destroy all of these nations, because he does not, in fact, love the whole world. All right. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 13, verse 12. Afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. All right. He's calling to himself a peaceable multitude. Who are they? Right? Who are they? Should be your question when you're studying. Let's go to Matthew 24. Matthew 24, verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. That's who he's going to be gathering. All right. Not all the people of the earth, because he so loved the world. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 27, verse 12. And it shall come to pass in that day, meaning guaranteed, you can set your clock to it. All right, you can bank on it, that Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt. And he shall be gathered, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. That's who his elect is. He told you he was going to gather, they told you he was going to gather his elect from the four winds. And Christians are tempted to believe that they are the elect. All right. They believe that they are the peaceable multitude, but we just went through a sequence of scriptures that show you that peaceable multitude, right? His elect that is gathered from the four winds, that's Israel. All right. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi in the holy mount at Jerusalem. And you got to remember, you don't quite understand where these nations are today. Don't try to use the ancient worlds, what you believe, are the ancient maps and the ancient geography according to your understanding. It is not what you believe it to be. The Most High has hidden things. He's allowed the names of places to be changed and to be usurped the same way, we as Israelites, we were usurped and our names were changed. The names of other places and peoples were changed as well. That's why everybody today are not being called by what they were called in the Bible. They're not going by their biblical names anymore. See, this is Satan playing three-card monte. All right. He's trying to hide things. He's trying to get people to not know who's who, what's what, where's where. All right. So that you don't understand prophecy, or so that prophecy doesn't make any sense to you. All right. So you can't make sense of it. All right. So we just have to wait. We have to wait and trust that he's going to do what he's going to do, but also having the smarts to know that, what we see and understand ain't necessarily the truth. But you can see what Satan knows and understands by what he's doing. All right. So just pay attention, because ultimately what he's doing is by commandment of the Most High. He's getting the work done on the left-hand side that the Most High wants to be done, you know what I'm saying, in preparation for the end of this world to come and the beginning of our world, our age to come, all right, which is an everlasting age. All right. So this is not a rescue mission for the whole world. All right. This is a military extraction, all right, for the elect of Israel. So everyone else is either destroyed or made to bow. That's what's going to be taking place. All right. And so, but there is comfort for the elect and terror for the wicked. You see, that's the great thing about our power. So he tells us all of this stuff about, what he's going to do, either to us or to other nations. And then he gives us the comfort. But as it pertains to this lesson and for what's coming in the end time, this comfort, is for the elect. And there's terror for the wicked because of these judgments that are going to come and that are coming. They're that are already in the works, already underway. All right. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Right? Which people went into slavery and had to labor for free. That's what made no account of his labors mean. Didn't pay him for his work. To let you know who the Israelites are. See, if you know how to read the Bible, then you can see what it's saying to you. All right. So the Israelites, the righteous men, got to be people who were forced to labor for free. When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear. Well, they should be troubled with terrible fear, excuse me, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for, because those chariots are going to come. Yahawashi is going to come in the sky. What they see and witness is going to be so terrifying, and it's going to be far above and beyond anything that they ever could have imagined. All right, they are going to be troubled with terrible fear, and they're going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, because that's what it's all about. When Yahawashi comes, that's what that alien invasion about. Oh, there will be an alien invasion, all right, but it is about the salvation of Israel. All right. That's the whole point. So, Israel, don't you be terrified when you see these things happening. Don't you go and try to join yourself into the heathen, unto the enemies when this thing happens. Don't join them and try to fight against your rescuers. All right. Don't join them and try to fight against your family. Those armies coming, that's your heavenly family coming to get you out of the hands of your enemies, coming to pay back your enemies for what they've done to you. All right. The special forces. Yeah. Our Father Yahawah was sending his special forces team. All right. To come extract his elect children. All right. From out of the lands and the hands of our enemies. That's what's taking place. A military move by the Most High. All right. It says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves. See, they repenting because they're going to see, they're going to understand at that time what's going on, and they're going to be groaning for anguish of spirit because they're going to know that they messed up. This is going to be the time when they understand that they messed up. They're going to know who it was that they have hated and oppressed all this time. Right? And they shall say within themselves, this was he, these people whom we had sometimes in derision and the proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High? And his lot is among the saints. You see, our lot is among the saints. We are numbered among the children of the Most High, and they're going to recognize it in that day. They're going to know. They're going to know. Right now, they keep trying to tell us, oh, you're just trying to steal other people's heritage and other people's culture and everything else. Oh, we was kings. Right? Like they love to say, right? They love to try to mock our awakening, right? I mean, but I get it, because if I was them, I guess I would do it too, right? Because it doesn't feel good to have the truth revealed that your history is a shameful history, and that everything that you believe about yourself and about your history is all lies. What you believe, what you were taught about your people, it was all lies. The same way it didn't feel good for us to learn that everything that we learned about our people, about ourselves, were lies. Is not feeling good to everybody else either, because they're learning that their history is shameful. That's the reason why they had to steal everybody else's history, that they got together and colluded, came together with one consent to steal the history and the heritage of the melanated folks. And with and even them, and in tandem with some other melanated folks, colluded to steal the history of the melanated sons and daughters of the Most High Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi. And in these days and in this time, we are not all melanated because of, slavery and captivities and mixing. All right. But this is what they're going to say in this time. All right. Jeremiah 30. Let's go there. Everybody should know Jeremiah 30. What's going on in this chapter? All right. Let's get verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It's going to be a time unlike any other time, right? It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You see, incorrectly, many Israelites believe that we are waiting on Jacob's trouble. All right. I'm not one of these people who says, oh, Jacob's trouble is not real. No, I'm just of the understanding that we are not waiting for Jacob's trouble to begin. We are waiting to be saved out of our trouble. We are already in Jacob's trouble. What do y'all think slavery was? Y'all think we're waiting for a greater time of trouble to come along? What do you think is coming that was worse than slavery, fam? You think we're waiting for a worse time for us than what we've already endured? What do you think what it was when 70 AD happened? What do you think that was? That was the beginning of Jacob's trouble. That was the start of Jacob's trouble. And Jacob's trouble has been a time period that has lasted from 70 AD all the way until now. And we are waiting to be saved out of it. Not waiting for it to begin, waiting to be saved out of it. You see? That's what we're waiting on, to be saved, because that's the promise, is that us, Israelites, we will be saved out of our trouble. Not the other nations. No, we will be saved out of our trouble. And that's what this coming alien invasion is all about. Us being saved as promised. All right. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3. We're going to start at verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, until the day that I rise up to the prey, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to raise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation. Doesn't sound like he loves the whole world, right? To pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. Yikes, he ain't sparing a lick of it. He says he's going to pour all of his fierce anger upon them. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You see? For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, to serve him with one consent. All right. The time is going to come when the whole world is going to bow and bend the knee. Everybody's going to know that we are the holders and the keepers of the truth, that we are the children of the highest. They're going to know through this great act of the show of force and power. It's going to be clear to them what's what and who's who. All right. See, for the righteous, this is the moment of redemption. All right. For the wicked, it's the day of reckoning. All right. All those who scoffed, mocked, enslaved, and destroyed the Israelites, this is their payback. All right. So the Most High always sends out a warning. There's a warning to the heathen Gentiles and to the unrepentant Israelites. All right. Let's bring it out. Let's get Isaiah 34. Verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. You see, that's what that day is all about. All right. He's waging war against the whole earth and all their armies. That's why they're all going to come together. All right. He hath utterly destroyed them. All right. Letting you know the end before it happens. they're going to be utterly destroyed. They're not going to win. So we already know what the ending is going to be. All right. He has delivered them to the slaughter. All right. That's what he's doing. He's delivering them to the slaughter. They're not running from it. They're not trying to do things to prevent the slaughter. No, they're doing things to hasten the slaughter. All right. That's what Trump's purpose is. He's helping to achieve the will of our Father. Stop complaining and being worried about what he's doing and what's going to happen and all of this stuff. Stop worried about all that. All of this is necessary for your salvation to come, Israel. All right, let's go to Joel chapter 3. Joel chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. All right. When he means plead, means he's going to reckon with them. He's going to deal with them. All right. For my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. This is his great anger. For they have cast lots for my people. They have cast lots for my people and given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. All right. Let's go back to Jeremiah 30. Verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. This is our promise. This is our comfort, Israel. All right. And this is a warning for all the other nations. All right. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. You see, slavery, captivity is coming for the other nations. All right. All of our enemies, all of our adversaries are going, you're either going to die or you're going into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. All right. And all that spoil thee, all right, shall be a spoil. All right. Meaning we're going to take them as a possession. And all that prey upon thee will I give for prey. You see? This is exactly what's coming. So he's not just returning to save, he's returning to make war. All right. And he's coming for vengeance, right? For slavery, for oppression, for rape, for theft, right? For every drop of blood spilled from the children of Israel is all going to be accounted for. Everybody's going to have to pay for it. All right. So don't be afraid of what the world fears. All right. Don't call conspiracy what the world calls conspiracy. All right. The chariots are not aliens. I mean, I guess they are because they're foreigners, but don't look at them in the way the world teaches you to think of aliens. All right. This is your family. This is your people. They are our salvation, Israel. They're coming for us. So don't you be in great fear along with the world when they come. Rejoice when they come. All right, for your salvation is at hand. All right, Luke 21, verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. All right, that's what we should be doing right now. We should be looking up, all right, because our redemption draws near. All right, it is even nearer than we believe. All right, Isaiah 26, verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. See, because the Christians are waiting to be raptured. They think that, Yahawashi is going to come, Christ is going to come and rapture them up, take them out of the earth, and they're going to get to avoid all the judgments that are coming upon the earth. Not so. Not so. The bride is going to get taken out of here. Right? The elect are going to get taken up into those chariots. All right? So it says, come, my people. Only the Israelites are ever called his people. Enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. It's talking about the chambers in the chariots. All right. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed, because we're not going to experience it. This is going to come upon the rest of the world, all right? Not upon us, all right? For behold, the Lord, Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. All right. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. All right. So we're not meant to fight Yahawashi. We're meant to be rescued by him. All right. That's why you really don't want to be in anybody's military. You don't. Right. It behooves all of our people to get out. And see, this is again why Trump is trying to get rid of our people out of the military. See, this is the Most High's doing. He doesn't want his children to be mixed up and caught up with these people when he fights against them. So our people is looking at it like, oh man, he's racist, and look at him, he's trying to get our people out of the military, blah blah blah. See, you don't understand. It is the Most High that is in control. He's trying to save his children. He's trying to get them out of harm's way. Right? It's like wanting to blow up a building, but your children are inside that building. You gotta get your children out of that building before you blow it up. This is what the Most High is doing. He's trying to get his children out of the building, out of harm's way. Danger close, danger close. Right? Get out of the way. All right. So again, the elect, we got to understand that this is all about us. This is for our benefit. All right. Our rescue is underway. And so the world is being programmed to resist him. But us, the elect, we are being awakened to rejoice in his return. All right. That's what it's all about. And so we got to come out of her, my people. All right. Be of good cheer. All right. Be comforted by his promises. Know what's coming. Understand what they're talking about, and that this is all about your salvation. Their destruction, your salvation. So don't be in fear with them. All praise, honor, and glory to our Father Yahawah, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I will see you guys on the next one. If there is a next one, Yahawah willing, right? Each one, reach one. Shalom.